Good morning, guys. Thanks for listening to Coffee with Christ. If you haven't subscribed, hit the button below. Share these with your friends. It's Monday and it is super cold. It is super cold here, so I got my turtleneck on. You guys, I'm pushing through because cold weather is not my thing, and it's been gloomy and snowy and cold, but I am doing good. Still reading 50 Women Every Christian Should Know. Get the book. It's great. But I wanted to talk today, this morning, about trusting in the fog. I am going to talk a little bit about this woman, Edith Schaeffer, who lived from 1914 to 2013. And her life embodied trusting in the fog. Anybody else ever, feel like you're supposed to do something and then it seems to fall apart and you're like, God, I thought I was supposed to do this. And your life becomes kind of a fog. And you have to continue to trust him in it. I mean, it happens to every believer. It just does. It's called life. And so let her story be an encouragement to you when you're in the fog. When you're in the fog. Because when we're in the fog and we can't see, we're having to rely on the Holy Spirit only, because we don't know which direction to go. We may be let down. We don't know. And so Edith was born to missionary parents in China. And so from a young age, she had like a call of God on her life. She would preach to the other Chinese children. And for whatever reason, her parents they came back here and they were not allowed to go back to China. And so she was here in the United States, and she loved the Lord. She met her husband, who went into seminary, and I'm totally like making this super quick. Edith, I don't know why I always want to call her Esther. Edith wrote 17 books. So you can go look her up and read any of them, one being her autobiography. But one time she wrote that she considered praying for her husband while he preached to be a primary responsibility. Well, they felt called to go to Europe, and they went to Switzerland. And the plans that they had got shut down. And they didn't know what to do. They felt like the Lord had called them over there, and they had to trust God in the fog. So they ended up just buying a home, a chalet in another town, and living there. And her daughter had invited a student, a young girl there, and who was struggling in her faith. She didn't know if to believe or not to believe. And her husband opened up her home, even though it was not complete and it was a work in progress at that time, and just allowed it to be a safe space for this girl to bring her questions and talk. And that is what formed Aubry. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a French word for shelter, and it is still in operation today, even though they've both passed away. It became a place where her skills of hospitality, she opened up her home, and people would travel from all over and have these questions. Maybe they were philosophical or religious questions, but her husband would have these preaching sessions, and people would come together, and it was a place that people could come with their doubts, with their faith, and everywhere in between, and just talk it out. It was a sanctuary, a shelter. And so my point is, look all this up because it's great, and she's an amazing woman of God. But when they went over there, they had to trust God in the fog. It looked like it wasn't going to work out. Why did you call me here? It's not, but God takes that, that unknowing, and he is always there. He is ever present, and he is always working it out. And even though we may have one vision that we think and it gets changed, if we just stay with Jesus on the path, he will work it out. And out of that, your Aubry can come about. So be encouraged today. Guys, I'm praying for you to trust God in the fog and stay the course. The Holy Spirit is speaking to you. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.